Morayo sat by the window, her eyes lost in the heavy rain that poured outside. It had been 6 months since her husband, Femi, was found dead in the bush outside their village. His death had been ruled an accident, a tragic fall while hunting, but something in Morayo had never accepted that explanation. Femi had been too careful, too skillful to meet such a fate. The whispers at his funeral, the odd glances from his so-called friends, and the sudden coldness of those closest to him made her suspicious. Even his business partner, Olarewanju, had avoided her since his death. The more Morayo thought about it, the clearer it became her husband had been murdered, and someone in the village knew exactly what had happened. One evening, while sifting through Femi's old documents, she found a crumbled letter addressed to him. The letter was from an anonymous source, warning him about a deal gone wrong. It mentioned names, including Olarewanju, and hinted at betrayal. Morayo's heart raced as she read and reread the letter, her mind spinning with the realization that Femi's death was no accident. Determined to uncover the truth, she began making secret inquiries around the village, speaking to people her husband had once trusted. The more she dug, the more dangerous her quest became. It wasn't long before she felt eyes on her, shadows lurking in corners where no one should have been. But Morayo was no longer afraid. Her grief had turned to rage. She would find justice for her husband, no matter the cost. Morayo's investigation led her to the heart of the village underworld, a network of secrets and shady dealings Femi had been entangled in before his death. She discovered that Olarewanju and several other prominent villagers had been involved in a scheme to defraud local landowners, including Femi. The more she uncovered, the more it became clear that Olarewanju had orchestrated her husband's demise to cover his tracks. Morayo learned that Femi had threatened to expose their fraudulent activities, and for that he had been silenced. But Olarewanju had underestimated her resolve. Morayo's careful inquiries caught the attention of a local herbalist, Mama Efun, who had known Femi well. The old woman, with her deep knowledge of the village's hidden dealings, agreed to help Morayo, though she warned her of the dangers ahead. These people don't just kill, they bury the truth deep, and it will take more than just courage to bring it to light, Mama Efun had said. With Mama Efun's help, Morayo discovered a secret meeting was to take place where Olarewaju and his accomplices planned to discuss their next moves. Morayo knew it would be her chance to gather evidence, but attending such a meeting would be dangerous. Still, she steeled herself for what was to come. The time for passive investigation had passed. Now it was time for action. On the night of the secret meeting, Morayo, with Mama Efun's guidance, sneaked into the gathering, hidden in the shadows of an old, decrepit building on the outskirts of the village. Inside, she overheard Olarewanju boasting to his accomplice about how easily they had disposed of Femi. He laughed about how the village elders believed their lies and how Morayo had been left powerless in her grief. Hearing her husband's death reduced to a joke fueled Morayo's desire for revenge. But she knew she had to be smart. Using a small recording device Mama Efun had given her, Morayo captured every word of the conversation. With this evidence in hand, she quietly slipped out, her heart pounding, knowing that her next step would either bring justice or seal her fate. The following morning, Morayo took the evidence to the village chief, a respected figure who had always maintained a sense of justice in the community. Armed with the recording, she exposed the truth behind Femi's death, shocking the elders who had been blind to the corruption in their midst. Olarewonju and his accomplice were arrested, their crimes laid bare for all to see. As they were led away in chains, Olarewaju's eyes met Morayo, filled with fury and disbelief that a grieving widow he had underestimated had been the one to bring him down. Morayo stood tall, her heart heavy with the knowledge that while she had avenged her husband's death, the pain of his loss would remain. But now she could move forward, knowing that justice had been served. In the end, Morayo had not just survived her grief, she had used it as a weapon to dismantle the web of lies that had taken her husband from her.